listen to me. I'm gonna tell you. Yeah! I really am. You know what I'm gonna be, Sean? You know what I'm gonna be? What's up there, boys and girls? Welcome to the Chris and Mike Show. I'm Chris, he's Mike. And a portion of the show is brought to you by Riverside FM, the one and only choice for your podcasting platforms. Remember, we're live on chrisandmikeshow.com. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. And hey, today we have part 2 of Sean Martin, which is just amazing life resume. In fact, we're so excited to have him back on. Mike was talking before the show, and I had to stop him for the golden moment thing. So I'm going to sit back, and Mike's just going to take it away. This is a first. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't know if it's a first.
Well, maybe a second. No pressure.
Maybe a third. What do I do? No. Welcome back, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Recently, I've noticed that you've been dropping some clips on Instagram. You've probably been dropping them elsewhere, too. I know you said you had over 1 million views on TikTok. And one of the
1 million streams on TikTok. We've gotten well over like 40 million on TikTok. We went streams on Spotify.
That's amazing.
40 million or more on TikTok through
Congratulations,
Instagram,
man.
through influencers, through those different channels. It's crazy how much that really does boost the visibility of things. It's got to be something that people understand about.
Now, what clip was that for that you were promoting here recently on Instagram?
Oh, I've actually been, so I've started to create a new schedule for it. So I have a bunch of clips from recording at Sound Emporium and recording at Blackbird. And I'm going to be promoting each one of the songs from Aversion to Normalcy and the album as a whole continuously.
Nice.
So it's not just one time and be like, oh, and everybody saw it. No, I'm going to be beating you over the head, repeating it, over and over
That's
again.
good.
And giving new ways to hear and interact with the music and get a good visual for what we're doing. I've got a new clip that I just made with a new program, and I'm super excited about it. It's a nice little 30-second clip, but it incorporates for Unspoken, recording at Sound Emporium, and it's got little clips of me playing guitar, doing the vocals, and the drummer who's just tearing it up in there. And you get a good sense of the live room and the song going behind it. Really, really simple. Not a crazy big thing. It took me about a couple of hours because it was my first video. I'm planning on making them quicker. And that's the kind of content that I'm going to be putting out consistently, along with the podcast stuff. So it's going up, man. Like people are definitely interested in it, and it's good.
So
How could they not be? You're Sean Martin.
Are you still in the studio now, or are those clips from?
No, those clips were from last year. I've been holding on to those for an entire year because of different. I was trying different things, and I was gonna see if they came through, and they didn't come through. So I was holding them back, and now I've got to use them.
Cool.
So, yeah, those clips are older, but they're still good.
Oh yeah, the drum sound I was hearing was huge in the one that you just released, maybe in the last week.
Oh yeah,
That guy's a monster.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was. I can't remember which one it was, but it was either Jerry Rowe or David Keith, and both of those guys are just awesome session musicians in Nashville, and both of them actually are touring with artists right now. David Keith is with Leilani Kilgore. And Jerry Rowe is touring with Friendship Commanders. They just did a U.S. tour. Now they're going to do a European tour.
Is that where that studio's at? Is in Nashville, where you were recording?
Yeah. Blackbird is in Nashville. Yeah, along with Sound Emporium. Yeah.
Well, the sounds you were getting out of there are amazing because, we've discussed this on the podcast before. The clips that are released on the internet are super compressed. So if they sound great, and by that I mean when you listen to something on a CD or album, even more preferably, you're getting the full sound. You hear people describe it as warmer. You're just getting all more of the frequency spectrum. Your stuff sounds great at a compressed rate, so I can't wait to hear the wave files, you know, the way that they were intended, because your sense of timing, the tones you chose, and then production is everything. So kudos to the guys who recorded it.
Oh yeah, that's Nathan Yarborough. He's worked with Korn, Hailstorm, Evanescence.
Oh, right on.
Wow.
He's Alice in Chains.
Just some small names.
Yeah, just a few you might have heard of before. Yeah, he's unbelievable, man, and he keeps his nose to the grindstone. He's working constantly. I've still got more stuff that I'm coming out with him. We've got a new version of Unspoken that we're going to be releasing. We're working on right now. Zach just finished his parts for it. So that's the violin and guitars and the lead guitars. So it's gonna take it to a whole nother level. And you know, we've got another single, Instagram Hell to release, and we've got a whole big process. And Nathan was involved in all of those, and he really is an absolutely amazing producer and totally down to earth, man. Like it's not some big flashy thing. It's like, he's like, this is how the sausage gets made, and this is what it is.
How much did he have to do with one of the things that you and Chris have in common that I like in a style of a singer is the way you hold the notes out and where you choose to do that, right? Am I going to hold it for am I going to hold it for
Thank you.
long?
Thank
Or
you.
am I going to hold
Thank you
it
very
for,
much.
you know, just 2 beats?
Look at that. I blurred his image when I did that. Did you see that? On my end, his image, his feed blurred. And that wasn't even like in key. It was probably like sharp as fuck. But hey, you know.
How much did he have to do with your vocal style, or is that just all you?
That was pretty much me. He
nice.
he kind of gave it up to me and was like, go ahead. Because in a way, you know, I was hoping that I could get like, you know, some crazier kind of like vocal production, but he was like, no, dude, just keep it simple.
Okay.
You got the
I'm going to
thing.
touch
You
on.
don't need to
I
be
want to.
crazy.
Yeah, I want to touch on that though, because when I was with the band we don't speak of, the last one I was in, we went to Nashville, and we were produced by Tony Migliori, which is the guy who plays the piano on Bye Bye Miss American Pie. He played with that dude. Really super cool guy, right? And then the sound engineers behind the thing, the post production, Susie and Skip and Susie, super nice people. Like they did some back vocal stuff. Anyway, where I'm going with this is I expected to go into the studio with a producer and then have him be a little bit more directive on perhaps how I was singing certain songs or how I was doing certain things, just from a delivery standpoint. Mm-hmm. Like one of the songs we recorded called "Fracture Me." When I laid down this it was the second time we were there, so the first 4 were all done in one day. Then we went to the studio in Brentwood. When I laid down the first track for "Fracture Me," he comes to the microphone. So you're all just scream singing, and I was like, "Well, yeah, Tony, but I'm screaming in key, man. Like, do you have any insight for that?" He's like, "No, I like it." So, but I really thought from a producer standpoint, because when you listen to all the music, right, that we listen to in our lifetime, I find it really hard to believe that every single vocalist, you and I included, Sean, walk into a studio and what we're doing is the absolute best that we can do without a producer saying, well, just do this. Come up here an octave or come back down a little bit or follow the groove this way or wait a half a step or come in a 1 step early. You know what I'm saying? So I was surprised by that. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah.
That there was nothing? Okay.
Well, there wasn't nothing. There was still good development, and there was still, but once he understood what I was going for,
okay,
and also what my limitations were,
agreed.
Then it was a lot easier for him to suggest the things
okay.
to do. And a lot of times I knew exactly when I didn't get it. Like I get 90% of it, but just that one note wasn't quite enough, or like I wasn't paying attention to it close enough.
Yeah.
Like eventually we would both be like, that one part, yeah, that one part. Okay, go back and re-record.
Okay.
I
you
think
know?
that's the key right there. Having sat
Yeah.
on the other side of the board for Chris and for many other vocalists as a
Yeah.
live sound engineer and in the studio, that's the key. If you
Yes.
walk in, either one of you guys, and your timing is right, but you're missing notes all over the place, I have no other choice as the engineer or the producer but to say, listen to it, and do you want to live with that, right? If you're happy with it being out of key, then we're going to go with it. But I think that guy's job more than anything is to make sure the timing is right. You're starting and
that.
stopping where you want to. But more importantly than that, you two walk into a studio as seasoned singers who have played countless shows.
Yeah.
You don't get stage fright. You don't get nervous being a performer. That's 90% of a producer's job, is to pull that live performance out of you in a very hostile environment, right?
Yeah. And the other
Yeah.
thing I will say, now that what you shared, Sean, because the first day we were in Nashville recording that album, I don't know if we told you this story or if it was somebody else, but we did. It was basically a 12-hour day where I thought I was laying scratch vocals the whole time. So it was all live recording, and I was in my vocal booth, and I sang every time we played the song. And at the end of the day, I was like, I need to do my vocal tracks. He's like, no, you did them. So that and those were 4 different songs. So that may have laid the foundation for day 2 in Brentwood, that he already knows what I can and can't do.
Yeah.
From
But at the same
producer
time,
standpoint?
I mean, there is a question that I would have. If
Yeah.
you're going in there as a band and you're at that point where you want to do at least a double of a vocal where it's you singing off of yourself. I think that's a good idea.
No,
I don't
and
think
I-
you're really
yeah.
gonna lose. So
No.
if he didn't do that, I would say that producer wasn't really doing all the justice that you guys really deserve.
We did those things after the fact, like when
Okay,
we
yeah.
went on before, like day 2. We were there a total of 3 times. So the final time we were there, we went back to each song, and that's when we kind of do the layers and the backing vocals and the other tracks and shit that we want to do. Like a song called "Shadow by Your Side," I went through and I whisper sang it, kind of like Morrison did on Riders on the Storm.
Yeah.
Because "Shadow by Your Side" is about. Michael loved this. It's about a stalker, but from the stalker's point of view. Like, I'm the shadow by your side. So if you listen really intently, I'm the shadow. It's just a soft whisper the whole track. It's another layer of the song. So we did go back and kind of produce more than we did day 1. But just when you mentioned that, I think, okay, well, maybe that kind of gave him an understanding. And then there was the Susie and Spike. That's what they came in and did the sound engineering and kind of. With Tony there, and they kind of put all the pieces together and like, let's do these elements. Let's have some reverb here. Let's have some echoing here. All that kind of fun stuff you do, the little panning in your head and shit. Like Shadow's really cool because it's a headphone song, which I loved. You put the headphones on, you're like, oh, I'm going on a journey, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and those things are very important. A lot of times, they did it right in that way to get a panel of people to make sure that one person isn't overburdened with with a glorious purpose, we'll say.
Right.
It's better to share that between people and especially with the band so that you get their input. But I will say, in support of the opposite side of my point, I have also done when I recorded Antiquate Hate, I had a vocal producer there, and he was the vocal teacher for
Oh, right
MI.
on.
He was the guy who did the extreme vocal classes. So he knew how to develop a little bit more of the instead of just you want to get there's so he can change that tone a little bit or listen to exactly, but at the same time he didn't know every single thing that I felt like I was failing at. And after a while, I had to stop and be like, I feel like I'm failing at all of this. And he had to stop me and be like, dude, stop it. You're in your own head. You're destroying yourself for no good reason. You're doing fine. Stop it.
That's
and once I got over that, and we could build the thing to where we could have a good communication, and I didn't feel like he was just okay, whatever. then we've really got all of the work done that we wanted to on that record.
That's cool.
Just
And now
like
that you
that guy
s-
did for Chris, that's another good job of a producer, is to make sure that you're not destroying your voice.
Right.
Right.
And that's a good point too, because I remember as you said that, you know how you things oh, that's right. I would take my vocal coach his name was Michael. I would take once we figured out the song and I figured out the song for that last band, I'd sing it for him in my class with him, right? My session, whatever. And he would give me little nuances because some of the songs were kind of out of my style, but that's what we were, they wanted to do. So I wasn't super comfortable with some of them.
Yeah.
But I can recall going to Michael, say, hey, I don't dig this. Like the song Tomorrow Never Comes. I like the lyrics of it, but I hate how it's sung. Just fucking hate how it's sung. But he helped me kind of, because it was out of my norm, it was
Because
just
of the
out
music that was laid underneath it.
Yeah.
It was just out of my style. You know my style, Mike.
I do.
It was just out of my style. If you go listen to that, I think you'll get the sense of what I'm saying. It just, I don't know. It was meant to be kind of a tear jerker. Hey, I wrote it about Nick and me being on the road, and tomorrow will come. Like just hang on. Tomorrow will come. I'll be home tomorrow, even though tomorrow was the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. From a poetry standpoint, fucking cool. Melody wise, I liked it, but it wasn't my comfort zone in how I like to sing. So
Yeah, see, I already have an idea in my head of what I would put to that.
right. So Michael kind of made sure it was shaped the way it should have been, and then the people in Nashville, they liked all of our stuff and they gave me some really nice compliments that I don't think I was supposed to hear, but I heard, which was cool.
Yeah.
They kind of referred to me to another very popular singer, and I was sitting in this back room that the door was open, but I don't think they knew I was there. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh, and I'm not gonna drop names because I'm not that person, but I was like, oh fuck, that's cool, And they didn't have to auto tune me, which I thought was cool. There's one of my holdouts in one of the songs that they probably could have auto tuned me because I dip a little bit, but I like the fact that it's dips there because it's like it's real and it's raw and it's
Happy
not
accidents.
overproduced.
Yeah.
And I think that holds value. Not everything's supposed to be perfect,
No, that's
Happy
why we
accident.
all still love music from the 70s, because
Yeah.
it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't snapped to a grid on a computer. They were, this is as close as it, and that feel is what they were looking for anyway. They didn't want things to be perfectly in time. It's rock and roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a swing to it.
Yes. It's all about the rock and roll.
Yeah, as long as they're grooving together. If they're
Exactly.
off together, fantastic. If
Yeah,
they're,
right?
as long as they're all grooving together, and I mean, sometimes they could take do the vocals separate. Sometimes,
yeah.
not every time. It
Yeah.
wasn't until much later that they were like, like in the '80s when that really started to happen. So, yeah.
Well, on COVID, that happened all the time, man. I can't imagine being a band during COVID and recording an album where you're each in a different part of the country. There's so much to be said for rehearsing and then going out live and taking that same song live and how, and you can relate to this, Sean, how it changes. Because you feed off the crowd, you feed off the energy. It's always faster live. So because it's a little bit faster live, then you start getting these other little nuances. I like to improv when we were playing live at certain songs at certain points, and I learned I could do that more and more live than I could just at rehearsal. And then when we went back to rehearsal the next day or day after that, then I would start incorporating that back in the rehearsal. So then it became second nature, and it became part of the song, like muscle memory.
He just
Yes.
said something
Yes.
very important that you just touched on earlier too, the overproduced thing. In the 80s, things started getting so overproduced. They had
Yes.
a huge compressed drum sound, which you can recreate live. That's not
Yeah.
a problem. But the separated, like Sean said, going in an ISO booth and singing by yourself, where the band's already pre-recorded, that became a problem for a lot of bands going out and playing live. Like Chris said, those guys can't pull that off live. If you
Right.
stack 12 layers of vocals on top to make that main vocal sound, how are you going to recreate that live?
Yeah.
A guy like Jeff Tate can do it. He was a trained opera singer. He
Yeah.
taught
Yeah.
music at the collegiate level. You know, somebody like that can go out and pull it off. And Chris and I both saw it. I don't know if you ever saw Queensryche, but that was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life. That band was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And the last band to not get booed off the stage, opening up for Metallica, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before Korn did it, when Chris and I saw him, Korn was the first band to open up for Metallica in like 6 years straight or something, because they just couldn't take anybody out and put them
Right.
through that punishment.
Yeah.
So I think my point is, Chris is right. We were a band that rehearsed more than we recorded. So
Yeah.
going in the studio wasn't a problem. We were already well rehearsed. It wasn't something we feared. And going out and playing live was something that we revered. You know, we looked forward to it. We weren't afraid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're doing all the rehearsing, so like it's good to be able to take that do the process of taking the stuff from the live and incorporating it so it becomes second nature.
So how
That-
much thought
that
do you
really
put
is the
into
thing.
that? Like
Yeah.
when you're writing and recording, how much thought do you put into, I have to pull this off live, and you know, what kind of studio magic do you use and throw out versus, I guess my question is, how much thought do you put into that? Because like Chris said, we did put a lot of thought into that.
We did.
Essentially, I don't consider it, because everything that I write and play, I play and sing as I'm making the song.
Okay.
So I bring it up to a point to where I can play and sing everything. And then I separate everything so that I can just play the guitar, just do the vocals for the studio.
Right.
And ironically enough, there's only one song that I've done in which the process of reconnecting them has taken much, much longer than I thought, and that's with Nemesis. It's really hard for me to play and sing that song and play and do the verse and like all of that. Right. It's hard for me to do that Nemesis Friend of Mine song together.
It's okay. You can name drop our
But-
band all you want, man. Nothing but love, brother.
Yeah, it's hard for me to do that, but all the rest of them, I do them no problem, and I play them and sing them, you know, all together.
That's awesome. But Mike and I were that way. We were adamant. Sorry, I went away from microphone. We were adamant when we were creating Nemesis's music that anything we do live, anything we do in the studio, we have to be able to do live.
Yeah.
Like that was it. There was nothing we wanted to do from a recording standpoint that we couldn't replicate live, because we thought what we were doing was unique enough that it didn't need to have a lot of the overproduced stuff, overproduced product.
Right.
But
Yeah.
and that was back in the 90s too. I mean, it's a whole different world now. So, you know.
It is. And, you know, one of the things I was going to say is a friend of mine, Alex Calise, who plays in the band Bat Farm, I went and saw her
Bat
playing
Farm.
at Bat Farm, yeah. I saw her playing at a local show in Los Angeles. And she's got she lines up like a triple track of her vocals to go along with her. And it's
Wow.
really dope. Like in a small venue like that, to hear like a 4-person version of one singer just come at you at different points and like stabs and background vocals is actually really cool.
You know who else
is
has
cool.
been doing that her whole career is Amy Lee from Evanescence.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
The drummer
yes.
triggers all her background vocals.
Yeah.
He's got one of those Simmons pads next to him, and when it's time for those to come up, since who would you count on more for the timing than the drummer, right? He knows
Yeah.
when to start those background vocals, and he's got a way to stop them, and that's her singing in the studio to herself, right, live.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is
and that's
why
a
it's
very
so
legit
impressive.
thing that it's a very legit thing that lots of bands do nowadays that really wasn't available in the 90s. Like the sampling stuff was there, but to get the good recorded audio inside the samples was much more difficult and took a
Well,
greater technical
to Chris's
knowledge.
point earlier, our last guest that we just had, if you wanted to do that in the 50s, 60s, you know, before the time period you're bringing up, you had to bring 9 background singers on the road with you.
Yeah,
3
yeah.
or 4. I think she said there was
Which
3 of them.
there was 9.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's 9 total people in the band. Yeah, and you're right, 3 or 4 background singers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the only way you could do it, and then you have to pay
Yeah.
all those people. So
Yeah.
now you
And
have
nowadays
this
it's-
technology available to you. If you're able to do that and it's you doing it, I can accept that, right? I saw Evanescence. It was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen from a vocal standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, just recently I saw on the Colbert Show. I think her name was Ray. I think. Where she had like a section of background singers that was like 16 people deep plus an entire orchestra.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
That is,
Yeah,
that's,
it's like
that's
damn,
crazy.
like she was doing it old school, like really old school, and every single one of the vocalists behind her had a separate part, and they were all very animated about it. It was quite an impressive thing.
See, so this
most
is-
of the time I don't look at that, but I was
This is what blows my mind. Somebody heard that. Somebody heard that in their head, like Prince. Okay, Prince. It's said to be that Prince has enough material to release an album every week for 100 years. Okay, so he heard that in his head. Like he had to have heard all the parts in his head.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just hear my melody. I don't hear I should background this, I should background that, or I should do this, that. But so to your point, 19 people on stage, somebody in that band, whoever created that concept, it's like Mozart. They heard that shit in their head. That is a really full head of just stuff that I can't imagine ever going to sleep at night. But it's always fascinated me that I'd love to just be able to talk to Prince and be like, dude, how do you hear all those little things? Like, how is that possible in your brain while you're sitting there in the studio just to hear, oh, well, I could get a violin over here and I get the piano playing here and the bass over here, the guitar over here, and the drums are going to do that. And then I need a backing. Like, it just blows my mind. That's why like Metallica's S&M is such a fascinating recording to me, because they took all their music and did this twist on it. But in my head, it made it heavier.
yeah.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so
did.
and Michael Kamen was a genius in that to convince them, hey, we should do this. And that I wish I could just sit down with somebody that had that brain and be like, how do you hear this shit? What is it what's it start with? Like, what do you start with? Like Mike starts with the guitar riff, and that's where my muse starts kicking in for lyrics, right?
Well,
but
then
for
as a guitar player, then you hear
Right.
all the rest of the parts. They
Yeah.
they have to be there in a certain way to fit in that music. You
Yeah.
oh yeah,
you're,
There's a-
you just
there's
don't
a-
have the vernacular. You actually do it. You just don't know it. Like
Oh.
think about Freeman when you
Yeah.
had the idea to put the bullhorn guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Those are those same stacking ideas that you're not giving yourself credit for.
Oh, okay.
Or the whisper part in the background, or the spoken word part in the background that we did on certain songs. I think we did a whisper on "Listen to Your Sin" or a spoken word. Those kind of ideas
yeah.
are those same. It's the same concepts. Sean, as a guitar player and a vocalist together, he's going to hear either the same melody he's singing to, or he's going to hear a counter melody that he's going to play, which those are the ones that always kill me with Hetfield, is how he can play one melody on a guitar and sing
Yeah.
another melody with his voice.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, you're real close on it, and I think of it in the terms of color palettes. So
Right.
the violins they're like this. The guitars, there's many different ways in which a guitar has a timbre and a tone, and each instrument has a place and a function. And once you start getting used to what the baseline for each of those is, and have that inside of your head, so you've heard it enough that you can start superimposing it off of one thing that you hear. So I would say that in the same way, like he's pointing out, you think of the different timbres and palettes of the vocal because that's the instrument that you're the most used to. But if you were the most used to sitting around with cello players the whole time, you'd be hearing cello parts all over the fucking place.
I guess, yeah, I guess that's valid.
If you spent the time to really do that with every instrument, then you could hear somebody go la da 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 da, and you go, I hear the whole orchestra behind that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That makes
It'd be
sense.
something
That makes
stupid,
sense.
and you could do it. So it
Yeah.
takes a level of training and understanding, and honestly, you're already at least 50% of the way there.
Yeah, okay, that totally makes sense.
The
now
other
that you put it that way.
50% for him is simply that a lot of times he just doesn't have the words because
Yeah.
he's not an instrumentalist, right? So he's not going to tell you the songs in A, G, and E, right? Those are my
Right?
three
Yeah,
chords.
the vocabulary.
But
is
he
super
understands
important.
his frequency spectrum of his voice like nobody I've ever been with.
Who, me?
Because because
Really?
you would be the guy to say when we were recording, very rarely would I have to say we're gonna have to do that again. You would say, I know what I did. I fucked up.
okay.
I didn't start
That's
on
right.
time,
Okay.
or I hit a bad note. Just run it again. I know where I messed up. Right when Sean was describing that,
Ah.
I totally heard you singing in my bathroom in my apartment. And we would stop, and you'd be like, I didn't start in the right spot. I'm going to try it in a different spot or something like that.
Okay, I remember that. Okay, I guess you're right. I don't know.
I don't
I'm
understand
my
mu-
worst critic, man.
I don't understand music theory at a level like Joseph. You know, Joseph's a classically trained, another
Yeah.
guest that we had. He's a classically trained guitar player. He can
Yeah.
look at a piece of music and tell you what's happening. I can't do that. I
Yeah.
can tell you that the song's in the key of G because that's the root and that's where I started and that's what Chris is singing in. You know, here's the rest of the chords. And I can name every
Yeah.
note on the guitar. I can tell you the simple scales. I can
Yeah.
get somebody from not knowing something to an intermediate level player. But talking advanced theory, and we're going to play a Mixolydian scale over a D7 A augmented, you know, I can't do that. I just know this chord sounds cool.
I sang by ear. I just sang by ear. Mike would be like, we're playing in this key, and he'd hit the thing on the guitar, and I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, can you hit this note? And he'd go, yeah.
And, yeah. I tried to my benefit. I took a music theory class.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to learn how to read music and shit. It all went over my head. I don't have the brain for that. I'm that guy that Michael could attest to it. No matter what was going on, let's just fucking go jam, man. Like, everybody shut up. Let's go on stage now. Let's go play. Whether it was good pre-show or bad pre-show or like whatever show. Okay, can we go play now? I just want to go play now.
Yeah,
Everybody
we
shut up.
almost didn't
Let's
become
go.
advanced level musicians simply because we all got along so well. You know, we
Yeah.
just liked playing so much that we just played it over and over again until it worked. Like if something was
Yeah.
in a weird time signature, I would think that Scott was mad at me, and he's like, "Why would I be mad?" He's like, "It's just weird, dude. You got to keep playing it so I can figure out where the one is." You know. And then Chris would have to do the same thing. How long am I going to hold my vocal out to get back to the beginning of the verse
Right.
or the chorus or whatever? Or he would tell us, I need some space here because I want to do X, Y, and Z. You know, he would have cool ideas for like bridges and pre-choruses and things to do with his voice that would lead his story from one section to the next.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How much leeway do you give your drummer, your bass player, because you're not recording those parts, right? You're hiring a drummer and a lead guitar player, is what I heard. How much leeway
Right.
do you give those guys?
So here's the process. We would play the song of the demo that I had for the song that I wanted them to re-record. I would play it for them, and they would listen to it once, and they would map out the entire song structure as they were listening to it. And they would also, at the same time, mark what the key was. They would mark the bars, what the phrases were, the main phrases for each section. So, you know, they would hear the song and then after be nodding along and be like, oh, that's good. That was a good choice. Yeah, that was good. They'd be talking to me the whole time that they're writing all of this down. It was like watching some great multitasker build a car and talk to you about, you know, how to make candles at the same fucking time. It was unbelievable to watch them do that like because they're like, oh yeah, that was really I love that part. That was a really good part, and they would be writing it down and continue to write until after the song was done, and then they'd set their papers down. And they go, okay, so here's what we want to do. We want to do this and this and this and this. We're gonna do this, and so this part was like this. You want it like that, and so they'd work out all the little parts, and they would say, okay, I think we're ready to go in. They would go in and play it, and I would let them get up to their technical chops and get everything under their fingers, under their playing in drums and whatever under their rhythm hands. I don't know, whatever the phrase is for drummers. Get it under their feet, I suppose. And then I would, after I knew that they knew what they were doing, then I would let them do 3 takes and wait for them to go, that was a good take. And then I would listen to it and I would say, and I would put on my producer hat and say, what else do I want from them?
Okay.
And then
Nice.
I would think of the next thing to say, hey, try it like this. Try it, do this part like this. What about this part? What about this part? Do you feel like you could do something else? I'm thinking of, this particular something, maybe a little bit more Black Sabbath-y. Think a little bit more Muse. Think a little bit more, give them some kind of reference. And they go, oh, got you. And then they would go and do that for another couple of takes. And I would let them tell me what was good.
Oh.
And then I would assess, is it good enough? Yeah, it's good enough. Then I would
I
check
really
with
like
Nathan and
that
he'd be
approach a
like, that's
lot.
good.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it would roll like that.
I really like that approach, Sean. I
Yeah.
guess I never thought about like you're probably going to get 80% performance out of 1 of 3 takes.
Right.
And you can piece the other 2 together, right?
Right.
For
And,
people
I mean,
that don't
these
know what
guys-
we're talking about, in the computer world, he's got 3 different tracks of guitars. He can choose the best one that goes 80% through, and he can cut the rest of it from the other 2 and make one master track.
Right. And then from there, it's just an overdub section. They'll come back into the control room, listen to everything.
Sure,
and
like
say,
Chris was
no,
saying
that
earlier,
wasn't-
go back in
yeah.
and do your, whisper parts or your
Mm-hmm.
delays
Yeah.
or your reverbs. You can do that with your voice later on, but you need that bass track of the drums to start with before you can
Mm-hmm.
overdub them. You need that bass track of the rhythm guitar and the lead guitar before you can fix the little mistakes or nuances that are wrong with it.
Right. Exactly.
Well,
so,
the
yeah,
one
give
cool
them
thing
process.
too, no, you're good. When I joined Nemesis, which back then was Desperate Angel, it was just Mike Scott and I, the drummer, and Mike and I. So when we finally found the bass player, it was kind of cool from a writing standpoint to see how some of the songs' dynamic changed a little bit, because Rick, fucking great bass player, I'm sorry, William, great bass player, but there were certain songs that when he brought his element, it was like, oh, I could latch onto that beat. And it wouldn't
Music
really
just went to. I
Right.
agree with him 100%.
Yeah.
If we thought it was 100% there with Chris and Scott and I, and we did. When Rick joined, it was like it went back.
William.
He's always going to be
Sorry,
Rick.
sorry,
He's always
William.
going to be Rick.
I know, but he gives me shit for calling him Rick now. So I'm like, William.
I'm one of those guys, you have to live with it.
I know.
If we thought we were at 100% when he joined, we immediately
Mm-hmm.
went back to 60% because Chris is right. We rewrote about 40% of those
Mm-hmm.
songs.
Yeah.
As soon as he walked out the door, Scott's wife, Carrie, at the time, said, "That's the best you guys have ever sounded." And she heard us from day one when Scott and I formed Desperate Angel before Chris was ever even thought of. We played one. We didn't know we needed you back then. We played one gig with this guy that just couldn't hack it. And the same thing happened when Chris joined the band. It was like, this is what I was looking for all along. When I drove 2,000 miles across the country with a dream, that's the kind of band I was looking for. 4 guys who could get along and write kick-ass music and just wanted to jam.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
Wasn't about the
that's
hookers and
thing.
blow, man. It was all about the rock and roll. That's a good line.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the hookers and blow. It was all about the rock and roll.
Yeah,
I got to
write that
trademark that shit. That's
Yeah.
good, right? Well, it's here now.
Yeah,
It's here now.
it's trademarked
Wow.
on episode
that was
194.
that was a great line. Wow.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
it's that when you're especially I know that feeling, and it truly, that's the thing that when you finally find that, it feels like, oh, now I finally made it, but that's really just the beginning.
Yeah.
That's just the base level to begin. Is in getting over that mountain is a massive one. Like you said, you had to travel 2,000 miles to do it. I mean, I had to drive across the country multiple times. I had to get, an entire 8-year history in the music industry, trying to find the right people and finding the right people and having them be like, I've got this other thing I've got to go do. This other thing that my other part of life that is taking me away. I don't have much of a choice because I've got to do that. And sometimes they'll come in and out, but the truth of it is that you can come back at any time and get together with any kind of musicians when you keep up your own ability, and when you just happen to find them even more so because you keep putting yourself out there, then that's where the real gold of sharing the language of music really is.
Well, and that's how big it's a brotherhood, right? Because once you stand on stage with someone, nobody understands that unless you've been there, done that. Nobody understands the anxiety you feel before stepping on that stage. Nobody understands the excitement when you rip off your first, second, third song in a row, or however you open your show, and then you have the crowd just cheering and looking at you on stage like, what the fuck did we just witness? You don't have that with anybody else in the world. So that's the unique thing about musicians that we all share is we know what it's like to go in front of people that you've never gone and stood in front of before. The vulnerability and anxiety that comes along with that.
And some hostile crowds, man. We opened up for Seven Dust. We opened up for Sacred Reich. We opened up for Armored Saint. We opened up for some bands who had what you would call loyal fucking fans. And if you were a band that sucked in front of them, they were not afraid to let you know.
Yeah.
We never experienced that,
no,
thankfully,
we didn't.
But
We didn't.
saw some bands that were like, good luck, fellas, because they're pretty rough,
But that's the thing. That's the thing. That's that brotherhood, man. That
That's what I'm
you
saying.
get
That's
it.
a whole nother level, is to
Yeah.
have had the balls to get up there in front of some of the like Sacred Reich is a arguably founding member of the thrash community. They started in 1985.
Yeah.
Metallica
Yeah.
beat them by 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, 4 years. They started in 81. So this is a band that had been around forever, and we played at places that hosted these kinds of bands. Flotsam and Jetsam stood on that stage and played before Jason ever joined. Jason Rainey and Jason Newsted were roommates at one point. He was there when he got the call. We got to hear that story. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So those are the
that's
kind of people that were frequenting these places, and we're like, holy shit, man, we hope they like us. And they did, We had our shit together. But to both of your guys' points, if you're going to play at that level, that's a commitment that very few people understand. It's not like you can, it's Saturday, I'm going to go jam. Not having played Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Right, but at the same time, Sean's point is if you moved to Arizona or I moved to Illinois, within a week's time we'd be jamming. It would just be that quick.
1,000,000%.
And it would be one of those things like, when are we going to jam, dude? Because we're an hour away now or half an hour away now. So it's the same concept. I think what you're sharing, Sean, is going back and forth across the country. But then when you reconnect with someone that you connected with before, it's an instantaneous, okay, let's go.
Yeah. And also I've found that when you see when I've traveled around, I've traveled across the country now 8 times, coast to coast.
I know, that's crazy.
And I love it. I love it so much. And I've gone to so many different areas of the country. And when you see someone who knows the exact same musical language that you do, and they can not just the genre, but the musicianship.
It's
when
your
you can see
musical
their
language.
musicianship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
When you can see the musicianship translated into any genre that they do, you go, that's my fucking dude. I love that guy already. It's like, I want to jam with that dude. And like, I've seen that so many times, and I've been so lucky, especially in different states, to be able to experience that and be like, man, if I stayed here, I could have a band with this dude all over
Right.
the place. It'd be great.
Right.
You know.
And here's, I think, to piggyback on that thought, Chris he likes to use this word a lot, and I just thought of this, man. It's that you already know that you can let your guard down with that person. Being a musician is so, or any kind of artist, it doesn't have to be a musician. You have to be so vulnerable, right? That's the word that you like to use a lot. You have to be vulnerable. And I know when I sit in a room with him, I'm gonna, if I play something bad, he's not gonna be like, "Wow, dude, that sucks." He'll be like, "Did you mean to do that?" You know, because I'm not sure how I would. He's always gonna think of it, and I would do the same thing for him. I'm not gonna go, "Hey, man, your voice cracked there. You sound like a 13-year-old boy going through puberty." I might do it jokingly, you know, but it's that rapport, that your vulnerability, that wall is already broken down. You know.
Yeah.
I know that there's nothing that him and I are going to say to each other that would intentionally hurt the other person. It's always going to be in a joking manner, or it's just not going to be a dig. It's going to be a constructive criticism. Did you mean to do that there? You know, because if you did, we're going to have to figure something else out musically. Or for him, if it's a weird musical passage, he's like, I'm either not going to sing there, or I'm going to have to figure out something to do with my voice that's going to fit with that oddity.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the good way to be helping people along. You don't want to, as a musician, be beating somebody down just because they make a mistake. And
Right.
it's so, yeah, like that's one of the key things. And I've been in some bands where, you know, they don't have that mentality, and you can tell that they weren't helping you along. It was like, meet this standard or you're a little bitch. And it's like, man, why am I even standing across from you? You know, like
It's like
I've been
the
in
Russian
that situation.
army.
yeah, for real. And eventually I just, and I remember in that position, it was a band in Minnesota before I went to MI. And I didn't really feel like it was a really heavy, like hardcore band, you know, like sort of like a metalcore band. And at that time, that wasn't really my thing. I was much more like Black Album, Metallica. I was very much so the slow groove, but still like, you know, heavy stuff. But I can't do like the at the time, I didn't know scales. I didn't know jack shit for scales. I barely even knew chord progressions. Like I knew you put your finger there, it makes a noise. That's what I knew at the time. So I'm sitting across from them, and they're like, it's this. And I'm like, I can't even do that. Like, you have
That's
to give me
never
something
been my
else.
jam
And they're
either,
like,
man.
dude, you either do this or you're out. And I'm like, well, guess I'm out there.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Yeah.
See
Because
ya.
they didn't give me any option to, it was either, you know, do something way above your level, and we're expecting you to be at that level.
Keep talking.
And this is the audition. Like, or, you know, get out. And I'm like, well, you don't give me much of a choice.
Well, like Chris
and
said,
I always felt like that wasn't the right way to do it. And when I went to music school, I learned the way that you're talking about. It's so much better.
like Chris said earlier, if it's not your style, you're not going to be able to embrace it, you know? So like, even though he was able to pull that song off, I'm sure every time, if they ever played it on stage, it was never comfortable for him, right? And when I put Nemesis together, Scott and I started over. We were like, we're just going to start over. We only had one guy that was a dual, you know, he played bass and sang. So we have to find a singer. We have to find a bass player. Let's just start over. So Chris, you know, through doing this podcast, he kept giving Scott and I credit for starting that band. I'm like, you were a founding member of Nemesis. We changed everything from that point forward. So it was the three of us that looked for a bass player and moved forward. My point is, it was important for all of us to feel comfortable playing those songs. Like, another thing that we put a lot of thought and a lot of talking into is, are you comfortable with your part and within the song, right? Mm-hmm. So when people came to see us play, it wasn't they're staring at the guitar player, they're staring at the drummer. They were staring at us as a band because we thought those songs out. I think, you know, through talking to you, the reason we wanted to talk to you again is you have the same kind of vision, you know? Mm-hmm. You want the song to be good. You don't want someone to say, Sean's a great singer, but the music sucks. You know, you're putting that same, you got to put the same amount of thought into everything. Production, distribution, marketing, writing, sonically, how does it sound as a final product? You know, all those things. When you're playing live, the lighting, people don't realize how much goes into when they ask me the question, why are you not in a band anymore? Well, that's a loaded question, man. I don't have that much time to explain it all to you, right? Unless you have the time. That's like a whole podcast by itself. And Chris knows because he's been there. You know because you've been there. Something he says over and over on this show is, you don't know unless you've been there. You know, you and I and Chris have all experienced standing on a stage hundreds or thousands of times. That's a commitment that's only maybe equaled by a marriage, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Because you're putting yourself out there. There's
Yeah.
6 people or 60,000 waiting to see you with their arms folded going, you better be good.
Show me something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Prove to me that you belong up there and I don't. That's really what
Yeah.
the audience is saying to you, right?
Yeah, for real. that is really it. Why shouldn't I be up there? Prove that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story real quick. I went to see Ted Nugent with my drummer, and the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix has a round stage. It holds about 2,000 people, maybe less than that even. Frank Lloyd Wright designed it. Ted Nugent's playing there, and I don't know if this was planned. He probably did it every night, but it was just cool. So halfway through Stranglehold, he just said, stop the stage, you know? And I can't believe that it would have been planned, because how many motorized stages does he play on?
Yeah.
He spotted these 2 kids in the crowd, and he pointed them out, and he's like, I see you out there, you know, you're looking up at me, and you're thinking, shit, old man, you ain't special. I could do that. He said, maybe you can. But one thing that I am that you will never be is Ted fucking Nugent. And went back into the solo and Stranglehold. And it was just one of those moments in time that, thinking back on it, it probably wasn't planned, because I don't know how many motorized stages Ted would have been standing on back then.
Yeah. No, he probably stopped the show for that one.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I mean, that's and you know that goes along with a piece of advice that my first guitar teacher gave me, and it was, you know, because I'm sitting there writing these new songs, and I'm like, I feel like this has all been done before. Why can't I write something new? And I've just started. Like, I was literally 13 years old writing like 30 songs, and I'm like,
You were that hard on yourself when you were 13?
oh yeah.
What the
I was
fuck,
awful
Sean?
on myself. Dude.
Wow, dude.
Let me tell you.
I would hate to be your parents, man.
Parents is where it came from, bro. That's where it fucking came from. Right?
okay,
So they're like,
okay.
dude, he's not good enough anyway. Like, they were.
Okay. I'm sorry.
They're not that hardcore, I promise. But in my mind, at the time, they were. And,
Yeah.
But what he told me was, you know, the chords will never change. The scales will never change. Everybody has done and played them before.
Right.
You're not the first one to travel this road. However, you're the first you to travel that road.
Right.
I like
Right.
that a lot.
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen said something very similar. He said there's 7 notes in major scale. How you mix them up is your business. But there's never any more than 7 notes in the major scale. You know, we can argue when you get past that, but in Western music, modernly, there's 7 notes. How you mix them up is your business. That's how he rectified that question that you asked in his head, because every musician, singer, drummer has always asked the same question, because we, contrary to popular belief, most of us aren't egomaniacs. We're actually very self-conscious, and we don't think that what we do is good, and we're just as surprised as you when you think it's good.
That's the one thing I think a lot of people don't understand when you go meet a musician, like somebody who's been blessed enough to make that their career in their life, right? That aw shucks thing.
Yeah.
I've never been an aw shucks guy. I met Eddie Jackson for Queensrÿche. It was the first time I ever met any type of somebody at that level, right? And what I took from that was he was like this. We were just having a conversation. There was after the show. There was no, oh, I'm Eddie Jackson. I'm the founding member of Queensrÿche. Who the fuck are you? There was none of that. It was just, you know, it was one of those. It wasn't backstage. It was like a meet and greet. And so there was like 12 of us. He came out and, you know, each one of us he talked to for a moment, and then we all just kind of stood back, and we could ask the questions and shit. But there was nothing. I don't want to say. I don't want to
Still
sound
grateful to be there, right?
right. There was nothing special. I don't want to say this is going to sound wrong, but there's nothing special about him. You know what I mean? It wasn't like
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
right. He was just somebody who was in the right place, right time, with the right set of people, and then boom, Kind of like Eddie, we talked about Eddie Van Halen. He didn't want to be a guitar. He just wanted to play guitar.
Yeah.
But he was so fucking good at guitar, he became Eddie Van Halen. And that's why when I think you see somebody who's so narcissistic and is, oh, look at me, I get turned off by that. I don't care if you're a music creator or not, but if you're an ass, fuck off, man. I'm not buying your shit anymore. Just, it's like Lemoyne. We had this producer on that he was a producer in the 90s, Sean, that was huge with all the gangster rap, all the kind of shit.
Responsible for more than
so
half
much.
of the rap albums that came out in the 90s as a producer.
Yeah, and recently he's done had stuff played in the movie bio documentary about Queen. Laid back, chill. Like he wanted to come back on our show.
Yeah, he reached out to us when he was dropping his latest single back in October. He's like, "Hey, can I come back on and talk about that?" It's like,
But
we'll think about it.
Yeah,
buddy.
right. But that's what I want more and more people to get out of this when you go meet bands and musicians and who your heroes are. Don't put them on a pedestal. They don't like that. They're like us, everybody. They're just like everyone. They just happen to be in that spot in time, and we're able to capture that lightning and go. Pew,
get as good as most people are, and I've heard people even describe Tom Cruise this way. He might be a weirdo when it comes to what he believes in.
Totally.
But he is the most professional when it comes to what he does. Like he does his own stunts. He's not the guy that's yelling at everybody or, he's positive on the set. He's a guy who's encouraging and lifts people up. And you don't get to be that great by being an asshole most of the time. I know there's the outliers and people are going to name 10 examples of people who have done it that way. And I'm not saying you can't make it that way, but 99% of the people who attain a level of a Johnny Depp or a Tom Cruise, it's because they were cool on the way up, They understood what their end goal was. Eddie Van Halen is one of the best examples you could ever give. A reluctant guitar hero. He just wanted to sound good and be innovative. I want to do something different. Well, he did something so different that he inspired everybody to this day sitting right here.
Right. Right. Yeah. He was like the Beatles.
But he had that same feeling that Chris described every night of getting on stage of, am I good enough to do that, right? That we didn't have stage fright. We had the anxiety of, are we really good enough to get up there and do that? You have to be humble enough to ask yourself that question. You'll never grow if you think you're the best. That's my point.
And the other thing too, like if you don't have nervous energy for the first time you're doing something, whether that's going on stage, whether that's if you're filming a scene for a movie, whether you're meeting somebody for the first time, if you don't have a little level of nervousness, then you're not a fucking human. You're not alive. You need that. You need those butterflies. The butterflies are what drive the extroverts. Like half of us are, or 2/3 of us are, because Mike's not an extrovert. But that's why
when I get on stage, you have to be.
Yeah, this is true. But that's what you need. That if I stopped having that nervous energy, then holy shit, that sucks. Because that's part of the excitement of life.
Getting on being stage an addict, and being loud was my way of being that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True point. So yeah, that's you got to have that.
And I would say even when I feel that nervousness and I got very used to it from a very young age, I learned how to put it into the performance. It's critical. It's so critical to not stop at stage fright, but use stage fright. Don't figure out how to get over stage fright.
Nope.
Figure out how to use it.
Absolutely.
Because it can become the thing that makes you stand out on stage. You do something weird with the guitar, guess what? You just motherfucking innovated.
Yep.
Right.
A lot of
our songs, then.
A lot of our songs changed over time through those. We talked about this the last time. The happy accidents.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so critical as an actor, as an entertainer, to understand and especially if you're thinking you want to start doing something in front of a camera or at all. Use that nervous energy and learn how to wrangle it so it becomes your carriage. It becomes the thing that you can ride into what you want to do, because
we did it with this
and still
from the beginning to right now, and not as often as we used to, but I'd say for 50 or 60 episodes we would sit and talk about where we want to take it and how to make it. It was more to how to make it like we're doing right now. We've been talking for almost an hour. It doesn't feel like almost an hour. It's been natural. It feels like a conversation. That was our ultimate goal, is how do we turn this into not, hey, what do you do? How do you do it? Mike, it's your turn to talk. Chris, it's your turn. How can we make this as natural as possible without it sounding fake, right?
Right. Like we had a guy talking to us this week behind the scenes, and he was one of those accolade things again about how the show is, and it's like, well, thanks, man. You know, thanks.
Yeah.
You know, and he was just super excited to talk to us, and we were too, because that's the cool thing when you love doing something and you have somebody like-minded that wants to talk to you and talk with you. I don't think it's talk to you, but talk with you, because we're talking together. It makes it so much more fun, man. It makes it so much more exciting.
Yeah,
And then we learn go ahead.
This part of it right here is ultimately what I think you and I both hoped it would get to. And I don't think people realize how hard that is to not over manufacture it. You know, you have to be,
Yeah.
it's the same thing as writing songs and you being in
Yeah.
the studio, Sean. It's how much do I throw the sprinkles on my ice cream? How many sprinkles do I want?
Right.
Do I
Right.
want more
Right.
sprinkles than ice cream, or do I want
Right.
more ice cream than sprinkles? We always want more ice cream.
Sprinkles. I want sprinkles. I want sprinkles, man. I want more sprinkles.
I'm
like the
just
sprinkles,
impressed
man.
at how, like he said, you know, all these people ended up understanding our vision in however long they were on the show. You know, they start off with the question, what are you guys doing? And as vague as possible, one of us will let them know. Usually Chris gives them the 45-second, here's what's going to happen. And you'll see as it goes along. But the more we get compliments, most of them are just that. It's, do you guys realize what kind of chemistry you have? Yeah. Chris and I are hyper aware of what kind of chemistry we have because we spent thousands of hours together writing songs, playing on stage. You don't get that by being argumentative. But more importantly, you can't survive that long with someone if you don't have good chemistry.
Right, and that's why I like having people like Sean on the show, because we're all in the same mindset. We're all musicians at heart. We all have that same common language. You know.
For sure.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to be able to speak that musical language, and to do it in a format like this, now we have to put it in a version of English that people can understand, because we have our own language when it comes to talking music. Bars,
Right.
measures, notes.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Mode scales.
I just want to jam, man. So talk now. So we've had this great conversation, but I want to kind of shift a little bit to focus on what you have going on, what's upcoming for the next half hour. So let's talk about that. Where's Sean Martin going? Where's the music going? Where's the band going? Where can people find you? All that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah. So the
No
number
pressure, no
one
pressure.
thing- oh no, there's not. The number one thing that we have coming out that I'm super excited about it is we have a new merch store coming out.
Okay,
And
nice.
this is
I
a
want to talk to you
full-
about that.
Yeah, this is a full-on website that really goes into, gives, like, there's so many just great descriptions. I have an employee make it for me, and they really went above and beyond. It's
Okay.
such an awesome way to put it all together. It really
Cool.
gives you the whole sense of where the band has gone and like what the clothes really stand for, and
Okay.
the designs on them really demonstrate that. They
Yeah.
really make you feel like it really does make a statement.
Okay.
That is, from our band, Be Free in Your Mind.
Yeah.
Like our logo, the line from Aversion to Normalcy. It's so. I saw it today, and so I'm super jazzed about it. We're hopefully going to have a release for it coming up next week. And
Okay.
so with that, we're going to start using funnels. We're going to start using a bunch of different ads, and we're going to start making posts for it.
Cool.
There's a whole operation behind the scenes that goes on to make that happen. So it's not just putting it up and hope that
Yeah,
people see it.
yeah.
It's going after the customers, and that's when
Cool.
it becomes really
That's awesome.
interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When it goes live, drop it on our Facebook page, will you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
because then our listeners can check it out for sure. Our listeners, viewers, whatever you want to call them. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
one thing
yeah.
that I would like. I think that's the next. After we did the website, I would like to
Create a
look
merch
into
store.
that
Chris and
and-
Mike merch store.
see,
Create some bobbleheads. Have a Chris and Mike bobble.
we gotta have a bobblehead to add to your
I would love to have a
collection.
bobble, man.
Me too. Yeah, I'm super interested in looking at that. And is this something that he does for a living, or did he just do it for you as a favor? Or
Well, actually, it's her.
Oh.
Oh.
And
I apologize. She.
yeah, and so what I will say is, I hired a company called The Doers, and it's a virtual assistant, and it's not a virtual assistant is simply it's a real person, but you have a virtual interaction with them. You're meeting with them because they're in this case, my doer is in the Philippines, and she. So I'll give her. There's a whole section of everything that they can do for you, and you essentially have to pick, and then give them training and orientation into how you want the things to go for your band, and then once they get that, it's off to the races, man. And for the
Right on.
last 2 or 3 weeks or so, she's been going full bore into making the merch site, and it's such an amazing job. It's unbelievable. So let me tell you guys, if
Yeah.
you're a band
Yeah.
and you're thinking of how am I supposed to start ways to make the business side of things
Mm-hmm.
start to work better, get a virtual assistant.
Oh, agreed. Yeah.
They will start,
Yeah.
like, they can create a merch store for you. They can start getting you familiar with how funnels are supposed to work. And then you can start
Okay.
setting up the way that they can start working for you instead of begging people who you know to give a shit. That's
Right.
not the point. You want to find
No.
the people who are already looking for the kind of style and the kind of stuff that you're putting out. I have
Agreed.
always been a big advocate that it's not about who you know. It's about who you haven't met yet.
Nice.
Because that's who you're going after. Because if you
I
know
like that.
everybody,
I like that.
you don't need to ask for anything. You know exactly who to ask.
You've already
But
made
need
it
to
if you know
find your
everybody.
audience. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But if you need to find your audience, you need to find all the people you haven't known yet.
That's a great point because
Fucking
I
A.
think that's something that I would say the other agreement that him and I made that we've stuck to is that we agreed to just do this organically. Like we put money up, buy the equipment and stuff like that, but we've put very little money into advertising because we wanted to prove to ourselves, just like we did with the band. And I think talking with you as much as we have, I think it's important to you as well that you know that your core fan base is just that, right? These are people that are coming here week after week because they like what we do. You know, they like
Yeah.
to listen to the different guests, the different stories, as Chris likes to call them, the life resumes.
Resume.
That organic growth, when it really happens, like we just went through a period where we fell into some kind of rabbit hole and we picked up 40 countries in 10 days. So
Yeah, which is
somebody found
crazy.
us that just shared us and shared us and shared us. And those kind of moments are genuine when you know you didn't spend $1,000 on an ad to just go out to, 100,000 people.
Right.
Yeah, and those
Absolutely.
are always like that. That's always a really great feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something to always go after. But the thing that I would say, the way that you can give yourself as many options, think of it as many fishing poles in the lake as you could possibly get, is utilizing shorts.
That's
reels.
what's helped us.
Oh,
more
we
than
do.
anything.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, as you guys
couldn't
do. and as
agree
you
with
guys
that
know.
more.
Then it creates it in the same idea. You're putting 40 poles in the lake to pull out a fish.
Right.
Then it's a hell of a lot easier to start finding the fish who are going for it. And in a way, without that analogy, I always had a problem with. I felt like family members or friends of mine liking my music out of obligation.
Sure.
I had a big fucking problem with that. Like after a while, like I'm like I don't even want you as a fan if you're like just doing it because you feel like you have to listen to it. No, go away. I don't want that.
Sure.
You
Right.
know, don't listen to it then. It was very weird. I had to wrestle with that for a very, very long time. But it wasn't until I understood about what I said before about it's everybody who you haven't met yet.
Well, here's
you're
another
trying
real
to reach
example.
out to.
I think my mom started listening to it because she felt like she should, right?
Right.
Probably.
She became a,
Yeah.
Probably.
I think
yeah,
she
my
would
mom does
admit
say
that,
she's
but-
super supportive. Yeah.
but I see it on her face now when she says, "Hey, I listened to that episode with Beverly, and wow, what an interesting lady. You guys are finding such a, now you can hear the genuine, I listen to it because I want to.
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't listen to
Yeah.
it.
I have to
I don't-
because
I don't.
I edit it, so
You're there. Why
don't-
do you need to listen to it?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when it was. So I wrote this book a couple years ago.
he always
And,
gets
Nick-
away with all the not the behind the scenes fucking shit that nobody
Yeah.
wants to do stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So Nikki was helping me write this book because I kind of worked her into it. So when it came out, she legit didn't read the book, and people gave her shit. She's like, "I was there while he wrote it."
I lived it.
Like we would go on road trips, and I would be sitting in the passenger side on my iPad using the notes section. I would bounce ideas and shit off. Or like, it's kind of like the band. Like she never had to listen to the songs when they came out because she lived it.
Yeah.
People, so
Rehearsing and the whole nine
Right.
yards. Yeah. She already knows
Right.
how the song goes.
yeah, it's yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And a lot of times that inner side of it, the real appreciation for it doesn't show
Yeah.
up until you get to that point where you're playing it in front of people, and then
Agreed.
they see the whole thing and they go, "Oh, now I get it."
Well,
and
and
that's
here's
so
yeah.
much of a better moment.
here's the other side of it. They're there when you know it's not good, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm not saying that this thing started off being bad, but it started off where it started off, right? It didn't start off. Your vision never is at 100. Your vision
Right.
is at 100, but your execution is at 20 until it's at 100, right?
Right.
You start off like clunky and wow, that didn't work, so let's change that, and this didn't work, so let's change that.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you find your niche, and I think you just said it a minute ago, Sean. You find that audience that finds you. You don't go find them, right?
I like
They-
that. That's brilliant, Sean, by the way. That's
It-
fucking brilliant, dude.
Absolutely. It's who you haven't met yet. Those people are starting to find us, and they're starting to find you with your music. And I can see, week over week, because we're friends on Instagram, so all our posts come out simultaneously. You're getting more and more likes and more views, and you see that natural growth of, wow, this guy's onto something. I like your message, and the delivery of whoever recorded this album is outstanding.
Thank you. That's Nathan Yarborough, and he
Kudos.
did.
Hi, Nathan.
It was.
Shout out to
Nathan.
Nathan Yarborough.
What's up, Nathan? Yeah, man, he is fantastic. He is absolutely. It was such a great thing because I struggled for so long in recording this album. I was trying to record it myself, and I struggled for so long to try to find the right tones. I just couldn't, manipulate the Pro Tools in the way that I wanted to. I just didn't have the knowledge to set. This is where the compressor needs to go to make it like this is where the level needs to be. This is the functionality of this entire signal chain. If you don't know that, then you're not going to get the result that you want. And I was able to once I added him in and said, "This is what I've got." He goes, "I know exactly what you're looking for," and it
That's
didn't
awesome.
take him any time at all to set up and make the right tweaks and adjustments for all of the little tone differences for the guitars to make. He's like, I already had the ballpark. Then I just put it in the seat.
Sometimes you just, even if I'm capable of getting the sounds I want, sometimes just having somebody sitting there to confirm that, like, yeah, I don't know what you're worried about. That sounds good. You need that when you're sitting here by yourself and all you have is the speakers, the monitors, and your ears, and no one else. Like, well, I think it sounds good, but there's no one here.
You don't
to
really
confirm
know.
it. Yeah.
Right.
You start getting in your own head.
Well, like Sean mentioned earlier, when he was in the studio that one time, he was getting into his own head. The guy's
Yeah.
like, "Shut the fuck up! It sounds great."
Yep.
Yeah.
Stop killing yourself.
Yeah.
You're better
It's-
than you
it's-
think you are. You need that person sometimes.
You really do. It's really important. Just a little bit of reassurance can help you. But also the thing that helped me the most was the thing that Nathan helped show me in mixing was how, because I already had the structure for a mix to be made, but I didn't know what was too loud. When the different instruments are too loud, they actually overtake the other instruments in a
Yes.
mix. So
Yeah.
if you can't hear what's being masked and what frequencies and what level it goes to, you'll be sitting there trying to move these things. Like, why is this EQ not doing anything? I'm moving it all the way up and all the way down. It's not doing it because it's too close to the
Right.
speaker. It's too loud in the speakers, but it doesn't seem like it's too loud because it's not blasting your ears. But the instrument itself is too loud. And that difference made a huge difference. That understanding that made a huge difference in my ability to mix and hear music at large. And that was like just a light bulb going off in my head that made me know and be able to measure what is too loud and how to bring a mix back into complete coherence.
You know what
now
actually-
I'm able to do that.
You know what actually taught me that was going to see AC/DC in concert when I was about 22 or 23 years old.
Oh yeah.
Malcolm started playing guitar, and his tone was so clean. It was loud, but there was no distortion on it. AC/DC's guitar sound is a blend of those two guys together. Separately, their sounds are actually kind of thin. Like you just said, it takes being a compromising artist to make a band or a mix work in the studio or live. You can't put so much bass in your guitar tone that you drown out the bass player. He's going to be like shrugging his shoulders going, why am I even here if you're going to have all that bass in your guitar sound, you know? Those are
exactly,
lessons
yeah.
that I learned by seeing them in concert. That is probably when Paul Marshall, the legendary DJ, was
Yeah,
on here. He said
yeah.
AC/DC might be the perfect band. And I agree with him.
Yeah.
And it's simply going to see them live and seeing how they work together and making that massive sound by everybody listening to everybody else.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
Angus kicked in, all of a sudden there was that big, massive guitar sound that you know and love of AC/DC. I'm like, oh, it's a blend of those two guys together. My point of telling that story is when I went in the studio, I was very conscious of when I put my rhythm guitar down to tuck it down in the background a little bit. Or, you know, that way when the lead came in, to your point, you don't have to keep pushing the volume up on everything. It's more important about what you're bringing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been very elusive, but we've been trying to get my friend Tony Palmer on here. for a
Right,
long
Tony
time.
motherfucking Palmer.
And he won't come on. I've even offered to do it on a day like that we normally don't do it, just him and I, or just him and Chris. Or he's like, Chris has got to be there, number one, because I want to give him a hard time. He feels like it's his mission in life to banter with Chris. So
I love
but
being
he's one of
bantered,
the
man.
ones that taught me the most about taking things away. You know, he said, you're thinking about it wrong. It's more about what are we going to bring down, because you only have so much headroom, you know?
Yeah.
I just did it. Every now and then you hit the top of your headroom and you see those dreaded red lights, and that's it. Digital distortion is silence. So once you do that, you're ruining your track. Back in the day, you could push it into the red. Tape would allow you saturation to a certain point, right? And you could hear it in the headphones.
Yeah.
Now you have to be super careful about how much volume you're pushing out. And I like to take credit for part of our, however much a small part of our success is our audio quality is always consistent. Because I do it
It
the
is.
same way every time.
That's why he watches every show, Sean.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
I
That's
watch the
measurement.
reels.
It's
I watch the
painful
reels.
sometimes.
You're interested in the measurement of what's working and how to make it. So no,
Yeah.
I see you. I feel you.
Yep.
I do the same thing.
You know what would be cool, and you can say no because I'm putting you on the spot. But what would be cool is if you one of your cool songs you write, I come on and do some harmonizing background vocal shit with you. We have Mike come on and do some little rhythm guitar, licks and shit with you, and just make it a cool little thing that we organically created from the conversations and friendships developed on the Chris and Mike show.
We could absolutely.
Just saying,
Yeah.
just saying. And you could totally
come
say
up
no.
You come up with a framework of a rhythm that you guys can sing to and send me the raw file. I'll play a lead over it. And It'll be
All right.
Chris
Yeah,
and
I
Mike.
think
and
that'd be- I
Sean.
think that'd be
love
fun.
That idea.
I think that'd be
I'm
fun because
down. Yeah.
I've hit it. We've hit it with a couple other musicians that come on, but for some reason, man, it's just I'm like we're all like old souls and just I mean we could really have this conversation for another 5 hours because
I love
it's
that
just
idea.
Yeah.
you know I think more and more the whole reason this started too, Sean, just is I kept fucking poking at Mike. I'd write a song and send it to him. I'd be like, hey motherfucker, write me a riff. Oh. So a couple weeks go by, send him a song. Hey motherfucker, write me a riff. Oh. And then he had this weird thing, trigger finger going on. So then that got fixed, and so he couldn't play guitar. So when you can't do the thing you love, you have a little piece of depression, right? You just do. When I couldn't work out because I had the stress reaction in my foot, it changes your dynamic, right? My working out took over the addiction side of me, right? But it's just so much of our foundation, Mike and I, is music, because that's where we met. That's how we've evolved our friendship. And that's why 30 years later, this isn't fake. This is how we were 30 years ago.
And I'll tell you another thing that I appreciate about him, and I hope you have a friend like this in your life. When I was going through that bad period, I can tell him that I'm not okay.
Right.
And he doesn't freak out because he knows I'm
No.
not, I'm stable enough that it's not something I want to sit down and tell my mother when I'm going through my worst time because that's going to
Right.
cause her stress in her life. I guess my
Right.
point
She's
is
gonna be sad.
he's one of my friends that I can say, hey, man, I had a shit week or, I've had a shit month or I don't know what's going on right now. I'll snap out of it. But
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to talk that through with somebody and know they're not going to go, oh, fuck, Mike's not good.
Right.
I better call everybody I know that knows Mike and get them all concerned. And
Right. Intervention. But see, that's how this kind of happened, Sean, because I kept poking the bear.
he did.
And then all of a sudden his finger got better. So he started playing the guitar again. And he's like, well, hey, did you want to do a podcast? I'm like, okay. But it's that dynamic. So we've had so many musicians on, man, so many musicians on, and I love them all. Like Dave Nudo, aside from you and Dave Nudo to me are like right here. Cause
Yep.
Dave Nudo doesn't realize what he has, but I think I think he's beginning to realize what he has. If you've never checked him out, Google Dave Nudo, The Lord and the Devil. Holy shit, man. Like, I kid you not.
Country Southern rock.
Oh, dude. If I was a country singer, I would be Dave
to
Nudo.
country Southern rock what you're doing to your genre of music.
Yes.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yes. So Nudo, just Google when you're fucking around, Google Dave Nudo, Lord of the Devil. Now he re-recorded it because we kept poking the bear with that shit. Because like, dude, you need to release a song, but he had some issues with
I
past
give
management
Chris
company
full
shit.
credit for that. He's
And-
the one
and
he's like, come on, dude, come on.
Right. And he's come back on the show, Mike. I don't know if I told you that.
I'm
So
excited.
he went and re-recorded it with his new management company so they can release it. But it's that good of a song. Kind of like some of your stuff. It's that good of music. It needs to get out there.
He had basically lost the rights to the song, and he was just going to let it go. And Chris was
Right.
like, "You can't let that song
What
go.
the
It's
fuck, dude?
I just listened to it on the way to get food last night. If I'm looking for something that I know I'm going to like and crank up in my car, I
it's
go
that
to
good,
that
man.
thing. He must get 100 plays a week just from me.
Yeah, it's that good of a song. But your stuff's that good too, and that's what I'm saying. You guys have that same kind of. You're right here. Like I would love to do something with Dave. I would love to do something with you. Not just as a fan of you and your human and your life resume. Just the fact that I like what you're doing.
Yes.
I like the music you're creating. I like the direction you're going. I love your life story, man. I
And
love
the
where you came from.
excitement, Like the reels, the reason that I was excited you were coming back on was I'm super glad you started dropping those things right before you came on because now I see how you operate. I see your excitement. I see that it's important to you to get a positive message out there. That's another thing that was important to Chris and I doing this show was to let people know there was life on the other side of addiction, that it can be fun, that you can still be cool, that life is actually better and more exciting because you don't
Yep.
know what's going to happen every day. I love that part of your music, man, that it's heavy because I'm a sucker for heavy music, but I'm also a sucker for a positive message in that
Right.
chaotic environment, Everybody always looked at I gravitated towards heavy metal because it scared people and that made me laugh. It's like you're afraid of music.
Yeah.
That's silly.
Yeah, it's
So
stupid.
now I'm going to create more of it so that you're more terrified.
And see, I gravitate towards you, Sean, because what you've done in your life. Because we talked about it before. I think my son's a Marine, so the element of that and where you've gone from that journey and the struggles you had post that, that to me just you're real.
Yeah, it's
I like
important
real-
that we have
yeah.
not hit on that on this podcast.
No.
Sean is also a veteran,
Yep. Woo.
which is
Thank you for your
super
service.
important. Thank you for your
Yep.
service.
And he did struggle, and he was transparent about that in his first episode. So if you want to find out what we talked about the first time,
Go back
that was a
and listen to
Tuesday
that.
spot. Yeah, go on our thing, I think on our website, Boys and Girls, you can actually go and search episodes.
Yes.
So you could type in Sean Martin and you'll find his first episode, and you'll watch that one, listen to it for 60 minutes, understand why we wanted him back, because it's motherfucking Sean Martin. Not many people can you put the motherfucker in front of, like it's motherfucking Dave Noodle, it's motherfucking Sean Martin, motherfucking Mickey Castillo or Mikey Castillo. You know, we have Mikey Castillo Day. Maybe we should have a Sean Martin Day.
Fuck
We
yeah.
should.
You know,
When is your album officially dropping?
Yeah,
Your full
yeah.
album.
Aversion to Normalcy has been out, but
right?
the new version of Unspoken
Yes,
is the version
yeah.
of Instagram out. So I've been, and I'm glad you brought this up. I've been thinking about doing another re-release, and I haven't made a date for it yet because I want to give those singles. I want to be doing a different process in unfurling those singles.
Well, you want the
I
singles
want
to grow a
get
little
that
bit too.
process
Yeah.
down so that
Yeah.
when I step up to re-releasing the album,
Okay.
it's going to be a real big thing.
Okay, that's Sean Martin Day. So let us know when
Yes.
that date is,
Yeah.
and we'll make
When
a
that
specific.
day
little-
happens, that will be now Sean Martin Day.
Yeah, we'll make a specific
yeah.
thumbnail for you, Sean Martin Day.
We're gonna have a Dave
Right
Noodle
on.
Day too.
We do. Yeah, we'll talk about it when Dave comes back. Because
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Dave to look you up because I want him to look you up too and kind of see the dynamic, because it is like Mike said, you guys are the yin and yang of the rock and roll Southern draw type of thing, and then the country heavy, which I love because that's my wheelhouse of my voice and how I sing. When we had the sound engineers like, dude, you've got a Southern rock voice. I'm like, I know. I don't know how. I fucking live in Arizona, man. But that's how
Well,
it came out when I
It's the
sang.
Southwest, but it's the South,
Right,
you know.
right. But that's how it came out when I sang. That's the first thing Mike was like when we met. You got Southern rock style. I'm like, okay, that's
And
cool.
it totally fit with the way that I played guitar because I grew up listening to Leonard Skinner and Molly Hatchet and the Allman Brothers, and I just wanted a heavier sound than that, right? I like that swing. I like that style. Black Crowes is one of my favorite bands. I just wanted a little bit of an edge to that kind of music. So when Metal Blade came to us, the first thing that the A&R rep said is, I just can't put my finger on your sound. And I didn't tell him. I was just like, it's heavy metal Southern rock, man. That's really what you're listening to. A sped up version of Southern rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything real complicated about it. But one thing that Chris just said that I don't want to get too far away from is the community that we're creating here is another thing that I had hoped for that is near and dear to my heart that I think is so cool. Like introducing all you guys to each other too. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's so important.
It is,
I'm
and
just now starting to realize just how important and how impactful that really is. Yeah.
And that's the greatest thing about technology is the people you can meet doing this kind of thing.
We would have never known you
No,
unless we
no,
happened
ever.
upon you on Facebook.
Ever.
You know?
Yeah.
And
that
that-
wouldn't
and
have
that's
been
how
very
I-
high chance at all.
Right.
Right.
And that's how I found a lot of our guests from the beginning was I just started trolling Facebook looking for interesting people.
Yeah.
Especially in the recovery world, because that's our foundation of the show to begin with, was all about recovery.
Yeah.
And then it just blew up from there because of the zombie, the unintended zombie commercial.
That is kind of when we had to stop looking for guests.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had this stupid segment, dude. Mike and I were talking. We had a guest that bailed. Uh-oh, there's my blood person. I have to skip out. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You guys keep talking.
I'll tell you the story. So
Yeah, tell me the story.
the guest didn't show up that day, and we were ending the podcast, and we were just kind of winding down, and somehow he said something like, you know, if you want to be a guest on the show, just reach out. As long as you're breathing, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a zombie. And I was like, well, it'd be kind of tough to have a zombie for a whole podcast. You know, we might be able to do a short with them, but, you know, and he agreed. And then we were just kind of being funny from there. Well, that thing went viral. And all of a sudden, people just started reaching out to us. And not that he doesn't go out and pick out guests, because there's still people that we actually want on the show that are, you know, at the next level now. So I guess that's kind of our fun time is now we get to kind of pick who we want we'd really liked, we had a guy that built a guitar for Peter Klett from Candlebox, and that's where Chris and I met, was at a Candlebox show. So like one of our dream guests is to have Peter on with the guy that built the guitar for him. And, you know, after the Candlebox tour ends, we'd like to try to make that happen. That's kind of where we're at, is getting to that next level, you know?
Yeah.
But my other hope, and it goes right along with what you want, is that one of you guys, like Dave, yourself, hopefully all of you, when you blow up, you've been here, done that, you know, we're going to ride that wave together. That's another vision that I had is, you know, help keep promoting the guests, because the chances over time of one of you guys just taking off is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to give up on your dream. We're not going to give up on this dream. One of us, if we get to that next level, we're taking the rest of you with us, you know, and vice versa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because
And,
our vision's not going to change. We're not going to all of a sudden become, wow, now we got 1 million subscribers and you're not welcome here anymore. It's just the opposite. The people who were there in the beginning are more welcome than the people who you would think would be welcome before a no-name, or, you know. That's how I've always been. The people that are loyal to me at an artist level, I'm hyper loyal to them.
Yeah.
Because we just
that
keep
sounds-
building that mountain together. You know, eventually all of us are going to reach the top if we're cool to each other.
Yeah.
Music
and-
isn't
and
supposed to be
exactly.
a competition. Art isn't supposed to be a competition. It's supposed to be a collective, just like Chris. I love his idea. You know, now that we've gotten to know you, it's like, let's write a song together. Let's do something that's creative together to, you know, do something other than the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You can make something really interesting and really fun and have a great time doing it. And, you know, it can end up making more content, and then it reaches more people. And
Exactly.
it's such a repeating, recurring process that feeds itself. Once you find that thing that you can do and that you really love and want to give yourself into, you can really make something with that. So I would encourage the people who are listening and waiting to try and start that thing. Man, start that thing. Don't wait for it.
Brilliant.
Start making small steps. You don't need to go 100% into it. Start making some small steps and something that's tangible. And when you do that, not only will you feel better, but you'll start to make progress towards the goal in the life that you want to create.
People
And
are
that's-
bowled over when one of the most brilliant things I ever heard, past what you just said, is I asked a guy one time, you know, when is a good time to start X, Y, or Z? And he said, well, 10 years ago, but today is your second best option,
Yeah.
right?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
You should have done it 15 years ago, but there's no time like today. So if you ask me what the
Right.
best option is, and I never forgot that. He's like, being honest with you, Mike, 10 years ago, but today is the next best option. So and that's
that's
exactly what you
fantastic
just said. People say, how'd you start the podcast? We just started.
Yeah.
And, you know,
You gotta start with
Chris,
something.
Chris has been on syndicated radio. It's like, I knew I was okay with him. I had to grow and come out of my shell and learn. I don't think about the fact there's 81 countries listening to us right now. I can't. It's not my composition as a human being is not made up to process that, you know. His best advice to me was, it's just me and you talking, man. It's your
Yeah.
brother sitting across from you. And now I knew you were coming on, so now it's another musician. I'm comfortable talking to musicians, you know. So I just don't think about the fact that we're growing and the audience is growing. And I think that's another thing that's, the warts were genuine too. You know, people realize if you go back to the first 50 episodes, at least from my perspective, it took a while for me to be able to be myself and open up. I've never been that vulnerable with people I don't know, is my point, right?
Yeah.
I've always been that vulnerable with my family and Chris and people that I trusted. I can have these deep, long conversations, but the one thing that I never saw coming is I thought I was ready to have those conversations, and it was harder than I anticipated to be that vulnerable publicly.
Yeah.
Look at that blood draw while you were still on the show talking.
That's a first.
Oh, nice, dude.
Well, because I get tired of having to go to the frickin' like the labs, and then you got to sit there for an hour, even if you have an appointment. So I'm like, how much does it cost to send? Okay, I'll pay that. Boom, in and out. 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes.
Actually, it's way
So-
less than 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
on the podcast.
It's just it makes it so much easier, man. So much easier.
And he got to listen to the podcast live while he was getting his blood drawn.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna have her come in
More
here and do it,
promotion
but I was
right
like, that'd probably be a little weird.
Well, I will say for streaming, I mean,
Yeah,
a little
that would have
weird
got
things like
something,
that,
right?
Who would have known?
Right.
You know?
Vampires would have loved it. Oh, the vamp. Oh, we could have hashtagged vampire. Oh shit. We would open up
Love
a.
the vampire demographic, man. You
We would
got
have
them.
looked. Oh, that would have been amazing, dude. What was I thinking? Damn it, Jim.
Only a doctor.
Right. Yeah, but I heard all the things that you were talking about because I left my pods in. So good job.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah, yeah. So what else can we talk about? I'm back now.
Oh, so I still so
don't get all quiet.
So we'll still have we've got these. Okay, so I did the next thing that I've got coming out is
Okay.
I did these videos with Stage Dive, and if
What's
you're not
okay? So
familiar
what's
with-
what's yeah? Thank you.
so
I'm sorry to
Stage
interrupt.
Dive is a company that's based out of Cleveland
Okay,
and Ohio, and
I figured.
yeah,
Is there more than
they-
one Cleveland?
There is actually.
Really?
there's yes, there's multiple.
No shit.
There are. Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
Only
Yeah,
one
there's
real
in
one, though.
Tennessee, actually. Yeah, but there's the real Cleveland, which is in Ohio, and they're a really they do audio and video recordings of
Okay.
bands.
Okay.
So their forte is to get your band in some particular venue, whatever stage that is, light it up all nice, and then actually record you in the room.
Oh,
Make a high def 4K video.
that's
fully
amazing.
edited.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. It's super awesome. And
that
so
is
for me at the time, it was a logistical nightmare to try and get the guys who recorded on the record to play it all again, a live thing, and do it all live together. Like it would have been a logistical nightmare. But what would be really stupid simple for me to do and be awesome is if I could go there and play the songs acoustically and sing them.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got these new videos that we're gonna come out with. They're sitting in my inbox right now. I've just got to check them and
Okay.
see, and then I'm gonna set them up. But
Okay.
I've already got the preview of them, and they're really, really dope. And it's
Right on, dude.
a really intimate, real stripped down version of all the songs from Aversion to Normalcy in shorts. So only about like a minute or a minute and a half or so long.
Right on.
And I'm gonna have fun spreading those around. Those
Yeah.
are gonna be coming up soon.
Hell yeah, brother.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so if you guys are out there, look, they're mobile.
Oh,
Stage Dive. They'll come to you. So for
Wow.
example, they're based out of Cleveland. I met them down in Columbia, Tennessee, just south of Nashville.
wow.
To go and
Okay.
record this stuff at the Mule House. And
Oh.
if you don't know the Mule House, that is a dope ass venue.
Really?
That is south of Nashville, and it's up. I mean, the room was so dead, it was unbelievable. Like it was like you go and clap your hands in this big, it's a solid 1,000 people, I think, seats in this
Okay.
theater. 2 tiers, right?
Okay.
There's a floor tier and there's a balcony tier. And it's super dead. Like it's unbelievable. It's as good as a recording studio.
That's
Wow.
the
And
way
it's a
the
venue.
that's the way
Wow.
the big room in the Electric Ballroom was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a huge room, but there was so much wood in there, and it was just broken up so nicely that there was a little bit of slap back against the back wall, but for the most part, bands love playing there for the same reason. You just described the big room of the Electric Ballroom.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was our origin. Which was our origin story, Mike. Which I
was.
heard you tell the story.
It was.
That was fun, dude. That was so funny. Mike gave Dave the story justice. That was a blast, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you, and I'm one of those weird people that I spend a lot of time by myself, so I got a lot of time to think. there's times where that thought will enter my mind. It's like, had I not chosen to go to that show that night, the version of Nemesis that
Right.
became would have never happened, right?
Yeah, because he went alone.
Yeah, I was by myself. He was with Nikki. I think you were newly dating at the time, weren't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it. I've always wanted to see Candlebox. I was in love with that first album. And
Fucking
I'm
A.
Gonna get to see him at a venue that, like you just described, Sean, it held probably anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 people on the main side. What better place are you going to get to see him? I was like 18 feet away from the front of the stage.
Yeah.
Because Chris and
Yeah.
I were standing back behind the soundboard so we could see the whole stage and you could hear the sound really good. I don't like to be up front because the sound isn't as good.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's this jackass singing with the guy, and all of a sudden I'm like, well,
Like looking like this, which back then nobody looked like this, Sean. Like nobody. Like I did this shit, and it wasn't. Was I bald when I met you?
you were not. You
Okay.
You had
Oh,
like,
so
you had
oh,
shoulder
short
length
hair. Okay, yeah, because that was when I got into real estate, so I had just short hair because I looked way too young. So that's right.
one of the best stories ever. You showed up for
Yeah.
band practice.
Right,
that
that's
day
right.
one
That's
day.
that's right. I forgot that. Okay, but yeah.
And
was
in,
probably-
in true
yeah.
Chris fashion, he
Yeah.
just showed up and didn't say anything, Sean. It's like it was time for practice.
Yeah, and I just walked in the door like this.
He grabs his microphone and throws his hat down and like, let's go. And we're like, time out, fucker.
Yeah. Wait a second.
Because in
You know, you should take that a little
1994,
further if you
whenever
want
that
to.
happened, that was socially unacceptable.
Yeah, I was in a play. I was playing it. I was a character actor in this play. So his name was Morrison. So I turned him into this bald butler that kind of penguinish walked on stage, and had this really annoying voice. I won't do it because it'd be annoying on a microphone. But the dress rehearsal, when they took the ball cap off me, it ripped. Well, back then, the only place to get ball caps was New York, and opening night was the following night. So they're like, we have a problem, Chris. The ball cap ripped. We can't get another one for at least 2 weeks. What do you want to do? Fuck it, I'll shave my head. And they're all like, what? I'm like, it's just my character, man. You let me create him. The director's name was Sandy. I was like, let me make this guy Sandy, so I'll just shave my head. Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, it'll grow back. Got a perfect head for it. So, it's
You've never
this way
grown
ever
your hair
since.
back since, have you?
No, I did it. Well, I was doing a show called Good News Arizona when COVID hit, because I was tired of all the negative shit. So I just, on the whim, we did that for 106 episodes. It's kind of like this, but a little more structured and shit. So during that, I think the second or third week into that show, I told Dean, my co-host at the time, I was like, I'm gonna grow my hair back until they release some stupid shit was going on, the opening and closing of the world. So I'm gonna grow my hair back till they open the world again. And I got about 6 weeks. I'm like, fuck this, man. And I shaved it. I didn't like it. I couldn't deal because it's been so long, it's just, I haven't had hair for so long. Every now and then I give Nikki shit. Do you ever wish that you could reach down to fill a full head of hair, down there? Down there. And she's like, no, because I have wigs.
He does. He actually
So,
did a whole
you know.
podcast with one of them on.
Yeah, that was a mask. Yeah, I had a mask. So during COVID, man, everybody had to wear masks, right? I actually have them.
I swear you wore a wig on the show too, for Halloween.
Probably. So during COVID, you had to wear masks. I was tired of those stupid masks, so I went and found masks.
Of course he did.
This is a roadie. This is the roadie. It's from a company. It's from a company called Zagoni Industries. They're badass, dude. The mouths move with you. This is a cool one. It's a hat, and the mouth moves when you talk. I'm looking.
Messed up Mario or something.
Oh yeah. So legit, you can see the mouth moving, right? And then I put the hat on, and I actually walked through the airport wearing a mask like this. Nobody said a fucking thing.
I wouldn't have said anything to you either
Really?
for fear you might
That's
kill me.
hilarious. The TSA wasn't like,
Straight
"Dude,
up.
what the hell are you doing?"
Nope.
'Cause they
I had
just
sunglasses.
sit through
I had-
the X-rays, so they're like,
I had sunglasses on, everything. Sunglasses and a hat. Nobody said a thing.
"Oh my
That's
god,
fucking crazy.
that's that's hilarious."
See, so you put the hat on.
Yeah.
What's up, Sean?
What's up, man?
Just flying to Dallas.
I don't know where Dave is, Mike. I have one called Dave, but I don't know where he is right now.
You better find it because he's got to make an appearance again.
If Dave's from Ireland, so when Dave comes on the show, it's talking like this the entire time. You know.
He gets his
gets
Irish
it.
accent.
There you go. There you go. It's from the motherland. Home of the potatoes
Down to Pete.
and the Pete. I'm gonna go get my piss on, Sean. Let's go get our piss on, shall we?
Get totally pissed. Yeah.
Totally pissed. Totally pissed.
If anybody wants to hear Dave, he's in the first 50 episodes. Find Dave from Ireland. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the episode.
It's Dave from Ireland. Yeah. You know, again, if you can't have fun, what the fuck are you doing in life, man?
Well, we were talking about ways that he helped me come out of my shell. That was one of them. He would do silly shit like that.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
just to make sure that I wasn't sitting here like a bump on a log.
Yeah. Fuck, you're fun to talk to, Sean.
Hell yeah. You guys do, dude. I love it. It's great.
All right, what else we want to talk about?
Well, I definitely want him to seriously consider that idea of sending you a tune to collaborate.
Yeah.
with, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I think
you
that'd
know,
be a
hey,
blast, man.
I'll tell you what. Right now,
'Kay.
I'm working on a. I recently got my first order for a custom song, and
Cool.
I'm refining that process. So once I get done with that, then I'll immediately lay down some acoustic guitar stuff because
'Kay.
that's super easy for me to do. And then I assume Mike, you'll have some distorted guitars to put on top of it, right?
Absolutely.
Off
I got
around
There you go.
Studio One right here.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
All I need is
So yeah,
raw
we
files.
can make something. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
hey,
Cool.
if you guys wanted to, we could do a cover, or we can do something original. Which would you rather
Yeah.
do?
Original.
Original.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Million.
More of the
Sounds like a
originals.
good choice.
More of the original
Yeah.
guys. Covers are cool.
Yeah.
If I like covers when they change them up. Like I like how Disturbed did Sound of Silence, right? I like that.
Right.
I liked how Hellstorm did what they do? They did In the Air Tonight. Didn't she do In the Air Tonight?
I think you're right. I, can't
I think she's
swear to it.
yeah. I dug how she did. I liked how Manson did In the Air Tonight because Manson's dark anyway, so he took a total dark spin on that thing.
Here's another good one.
yeah.
That blew me away was Nine Inch Nails' version of. No, it wasn't Nine Inch Nails. It was who did Cinnamon Girl.
Oh, was it Korn?
Well, it's a heavy band.
It's somebody dark like that.
Oh, they're yelling at me now.
Zombie?
He was a big. He died. He was a burly,
Oh.
like, built like a brick
Oh.
shit house, dude.
Oh fuck! I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
God damn it. That's a good version too. Amy Lee
Yeah.
during COVID did Going to California. That'll make you cry.
Oh yeah.
Oh no shit. Okay,
Look that
I'll
up
check
on
that out.
YouTube.
I'll have to check
It'll
that
bring
out.
tears to your eyes.
Yeah, Amy Lee. She did one with where I was watching the old Unplugged series the other day.
Oh, right
And I
on.
saw that she.
Yeah.
One of the last episodes they did was with Korn, and they brought on Amy Lee to do "Make Me Bad."
Sweet.
Unreal.
Really?
Unreal.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you
Okay.
haven't gone to see it, go and watch that. Putting
Okay.
Amy Lee's vocals with Korn.
Okay.
is-
Okay.
it's
Okay.
Typo
But then you
negative.
start to think it's like,
Right
dude,
on.
you put Amy Lee with
Oh.
anything.
Yeah,
She's like
typo
the
negative.
Nutella of music. She goes
Yes.
with everything.
Yeah.
She can sing the phone. book.
That's the thing that I love. I've talked about it before, and you probably do too, Sean. Love about female vocalists, man.
Yeah.
They can do fucking anything. They can just
especially with that heavy
rasp. Right.
background. Yeah, and like Chris said, when they have that touch of rasp to their voice,
Uh-huh.
that they're hitting the key, but they got that
Yeah.
character, as I like
Yeah.
to call it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The chick who took over for Chester Bennington, man, like what the fuck is
Oh,
this about? Then you hear her sing. It's like my bad,
She's
My bad.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
We can do it.
Bow
You
down
can
to
just
that
not-
because those were big shoes to fill, and
One of the
she
best
filled
ever.
them.
Yeah.
And she filled them, and I was like, fuck. Okay. Never gonna doubt you again. Never. Never. And then you have Whitney Houston, who could sing like nobody's business, and still by far has the best live rendition of the national anthem in the history of music.
By a landslide.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's like, well, Chris Stapleton. Well, Chris Stapleton was good. Whitney Houston.
Hers has blown everybody away for 40 years now.
Yeah, for a 90-second song, for her to take her voice the way she did in 90 seconds.
And not annoy you. A lot of people
and
they
right.
try to hold
Right.
those notes out or use their
Right.
vibrato, and it's just ridiculous.
And she just did it. It was the quintessential version of that song. And I'll fight you to the death if you disagree.
I agree.
I know
That
you two
statement,
agree.
I
I'm just
agree.
saying. That's just, some people hit that, like you said, some people just destroy. Now, Stapleton's version was good. It was a nice, refreshing take on it from, a lot of fucknuts doing it. But, I used to do that song with my vocal coach. That was one of the songs I did that in, and one of the songs from, that stupid play, Les Miserables. He used to have me warm up to a song in Les Miserables, the play, Les Miserables, however you say that. And the national anthem, when he first we were going to do national anthem, I fucking got that. That song is so hard.
It is.
That is so hard.
That's a
Nobody
big
has any idea how hard that song is. So when you have somebody like Roseanne Barr step up to sing that shit, it's like, what the fuck are you thinking, man?
Yeah.
Like just,
especially from a young age, like people would be like, "Oh, it's just singing the anthem like at a football game. What's the big deal?"
No.
Oh, what do you mean? What's a big deal? It's a big
Yeah.
fucking deal. Like, come on. Like you have to be
It's a-
because you're doing it a cappella. You have to start from the right point and keep
Right.
the tone center the whole time.
right?
And
it's-
that is
it's-
such a
yeah.
difficult thing for young singers to do.
Yeah, any singer to do. It's not an easy song to sing.
Yeah.
Unless you're someone like Whitney Houston and she nailed that shit.
Yeah.
Just nailed it. It was a hard song to warm up to, but once I was a year in with him, I understood why, because it takes you on so many different levels from vocals and the strength of your voice and the different notes. And it's like, that's brilliant. It's
Well,
brilliant.
like Sean said, it gets your brain tone centered. So now you're thinking about where all those different changes are in your melodies, and
Right.
if you can hit the amount of changes that are in that song, you're going to be able to sing a rock song pretty easy because the key doesn't
Right.
change.
And that's what was amazing about Whitney Houston, the control of her instrument. She could control that and just on a millisecond change it. And you're just, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? So effortlessly. And then she met Bobby Brown and OD'd in the bathtub. What the fuck, Whitney?
Yeah. One of the saddest ends. I mean,
Right? Totally
Well, see, There's
sad.
another moment in time. What if that night had never happened? What if you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Michael Jackson
her-
met the wrong doctor?
Amy Winehouse is another one. That's
Yep,
that's another
yep.
one that
Every time I hear
talk about
rehab,
as well.
I'm like, you should have went.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, just go.
She just said no.
Bobby
no.
Brown is not that great. Like, come the fuck
No,
on.
he's not.
You know?
He had-
like that's,
he was-
that's the thing that was so
no.
frustrating about it. It's-
Right. He had New
it's not
Edition
like
and then
he's
he had that
fucking
my.
Einstein or something.
No.
Right.
New Edition.
Like, what
Well,
is your
it's so. The only thing I can think of from a female standpoint, women like the bad boys, right? They just like the bad boys. Like
For whatever reason.
Right, like Nikki finds men that have sleeve art and kind of, like attractive, which I get. It's a bad boy, right? But she likes me because when, I was bald when she met me because then I grew the hair, but I was a bad boy that didn't have sleeve art. So I was, a little bad boy, but I was still classy. I was a classy bad boy, so, but I think that's what it is. I think
Good way
Whitney
to
was just,
describe us.
yeah. So I think Whitney was attracted to the bad boy and Bobby Brown was a bad boy. He had that one solo hit, My Prerogative, which was a great song, great hook, very cool. But other than that, I think it was a New Edition, wasn't he? A boy band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So there's nothing, there's nothing exciting about Bobby Brown other than, but I think that's what it was. I think it was Bad Boy. She was tired of living in mommy's shadow because Cicely Houston was a huge influence in the industry for years, and there's all that. That's a depressing way to end the show.
Took out a legend.
But hey, it's a good way to segue. If you're feeling sad, depressed, suicidal, go journal, go write something down, go scream at a pillow, go outside and run, go work out. Go to the mall and just find somebody to talk to. Be that guy that sits on the curb, start throwing some popcorn at a bird until somebody talks to you. If you can't do any of that, text 988. Somebody is there standing by to talk to you, to help get you in the right mindset, talk you off that cliff, get you off that ledge. Tomorrow is always a better day when you wake up in it. Mike and I can both attest to that. I'm sure, Sean, in your lifetime with, being a veteran and stuff, you've had fellow vets that, the 22 too many, that's a real thing if you don't know that, people.
And I've called
Daryl
them
Sheets.
many times.
Right. Daryl Sheets recently from Storage Wars lived in Lake Havasu City. I think yesterday or the day before, killed himself.
I just saw that.
Oh,
Like,
jeez.
and then somebody chimed in on the thread, like, I can't believe someone like him would do that. Well, okay. It doesn't matter who you are. Like you just said, Sean, you called the helpline how many times?
Many, many times.
You know, and thank you for doing so, because
Yeah.
And
we
we've-
would not have a show today.
We've said in this show several times today, as artists, all three of us, we're way more vulnerable than people give you credit for.
Yeah.
We're not these egotistical, boisterous. Art touched us, and then we cherished it, and we try and put it out there in a positive manner. So,
And another thing to touch on that, musicians don't have broad shoulders. So when you critique us, it hurts.
it's
Now
just the
understand-
assholes that are so loud
Right.
that make people think we're all like that.
Right. But understand, we knew coming into this world, you were going to love us or hate us.
Yes,
But it doesn't mean the hate doesn't hurt.
good point.
Right. And it doesn't mean the love doesn't freak us the fuck out.
And if you
because
wanna-
some people take that love to an extreme.
If you want a real life example of that, go to Netflix and watch the Nickelback documentary.
Oh yeah.
Because
Great
Jack Kroger
documentary.
says it. He says it doesn't matter how many people tell you to let that shit roll off your shoulders.
Yeah.
When the whole world hates you, you feel that shit. And
Yeah.
he got super depressed over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just music, man. He's just making music. You're just jealous because he's doing something that you couldn't do.
Yes.
Right.
Is
So
Nickelback
stop.
the greatest band in the world? No. Do
No. Mm-hmm.
they write great songs that people love? Obviously, because they sell out every concert they play at.
Especially strippers.
Especially
If you
strippers.
if you listen to some of their songs, man, oh my, some of their songs, you something better in your mouth. The song "Sex," like they have some great fucking lyrics, man. Just there's
Animals?
a line.
Animals
Oh
are
yes,
great.
yes.
Animals?
There's a line.
Animals.
There's a line that he has in one of his songs that something about a skirt. He can't wait to get underneath that skirt and
I know the
and
one
his-
you're talking about.
Right, he's totally talking about cunnilingus, man,
Yes.
and that was just like that is a brilliant fucking line, man.
And
I'm
if
like, I
you don't get, if the hooks that they write don't
Mm-hmm.
make you want to move, you're lying to yourself.
You're lying to
And
yourself.
a lot of people are lying to themselves. I
They
fucking
are.
hate Nickelback.
They
and
are.
secretly, if they were sitting in a car and it came on, they'd turn the volume up just a little bit.
And here's the
I do
fucked
believe,
up thing.
I do believe. I do.
Okay,
Before
yeah.
I do believe.
Go ahead,
that,
go ahead.
There was an essence of, it kind of became like a running joke. Just to, even though people didn't really actually hate Nickelback, it was like, oh, they're-
Okay.
you know, I think
Agreed.
it was just it's kind of like a
A funny-
joke that just went
Yeah.
way too far, and then people
Okay.
took it way too seriously.
I can see that. I can see that.
And
so
what you tell
here-
yourself is what
Yeah.
you believe.
Right. So here's the prime example about Nickelback. They came to town last year, and I was like, I've never seen them. I watched the documentary. Love a lot of their music. Their greatest hits. You know every song. It's one of those bands you don't realize it. Aaron Lewis. You don't, and Stain. You don't realize it. Their greatest hits. You know every fucking song.
Yep.
It's so under the radar, right? So I went to buy tickets to go take Nikki and I go see Nickelback. The least expensive ticket in the nosebleeds was like $700. I'm like, fuck that. I don't
Oh
like
my
Nickelback that much.
God.
Right. The front general part was like $2,000. It was insane. So for those of you who say you don't like Nickelback, you fucking paid to see Nickelback. We're not talking Metallica Sphere money because some of that shit went aftermarket for $30,000.
Yep.
But you still are paying money to see Nickelback, whether you want to admit it or not.
Amen.
Oh, and then one more thing before we go. The other really cool, really cool version of In the Air Tonight, which you can't find anywhere except YouTube. Chris Daughtry and Brad Arnold, the late, great Brad Arnold from
That's
Three Doors
right.
Down. Holy shit, have you not seen that one, Sean? Chris Daughtry and Brad Arnold in the Air Tonight, fucking amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
I'm going to go
Amazing.
YouTube that.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we got. Thank you so much for being here today, Sean. You are an amazing human. We love that you came back. And anytime you want to come back, dude, just shoot me a message. We'll get you back on.
Right on. Thank you so much for having me, guys. This is a really great show. I love
Yeah,
hanging out with you
yeah.
guys and talking with you guys. It's
You just say that
always-
because we paid you. We paid you. The Zell's on its way.
Checks in the mail.
Hey, for-
no, I'm doing it because I truly love you.
I love
guys are
you,
awesome.
man. I love that. Love
I
you
was
both,
looking
man.
forward to
Love you
this one.
both.
Love you
Yeah,
guys
me
too,
too.
man.
Me too. And then I forgot till this morning. Oh fuck! I forgot to remind Sean. So I'm glad you were like, boom, I'm here, man.
Oh, I was on it. I'm waiting
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Right on. Cool. He's Mike. I'm Chris. That's the Sean Martin Quarantine. Check him out. Just Google Sean Martin, the Quarantine. You're going to find all his stuff. Pay attention to this guy because when he explodes, you can be like, oh, I remember him on the Chris and Mike show.
Absolutely.
Woo! Yeah. See you, buddy.
Thanks again,
Appreciate your
brother.
time, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank you guys. Thank you.